My grill is out there doing this thing, coming up to temp. Now it's time for me to turn my attention to these beef neck bones that we about to put on the smoker today. So they've been in a brine of kosher salt. And where's your sister? Let's get a look at them. So here's all my neck bones all dried off and cleaned up and everything on both sides. And what I did is put them on this little wire rack, this little drying rack right here. And I'm gonna take them over to the sink to season them. This is just an all-purpose rub that I've been using. This guy sent it to me to try it out. It's called Uncle Dave's. It's pretty good stuff, man. I think it's gonna be working. I think it's gonna work just fine for this. So to that Uncle Dave's, I added some fresh ground black pepper. And then off camera, I added some roasted garlic and some onion powder. So then it was time to put these babies on the grill, and after I got them on there, I hit them one more time with that Uncle Dave's. So I'm gonna come back out here about once every hour, mainly to make sure my temperatures are running okay and we're staying in range, not getting out of pocket. I'll see you in the next check-in. Definitely looking good. 150, 154. So they making good time, man. They're all in the 150 range. So I think what I'm gonna do is just flip them around. That way these that are in the front can be in the back and vice versa. So it's rolling right along, man. You know, you saw the temperatures were all close to like 160, 165 or something like that. And that's usually the temperature at which most people start to wrap their meat to get it tender. But I think I'm gonna keep going, man. No, sir. Flag on the play. Do not keep going, man. First of all, they were not all temping at around 165. They were temping at around 150. So that was my first mistake. Second, the only reason to do these on the grill is to get some smoke on them, man. 2-3 hours of smoke, you're good to go. There's really no other reason to leave them on the grill after that. All right, so let's move on to mistake number 2 that I made in this cook. Watch this clip right here. You know, I have to keep reminding myself that I'm not dealing with a big piece of meat here, like a brisket or pork butt or anything. It's a pretty small amount of meat on these things. So I figured I'd come out here a little earlier. First thing I'm going to be looking for is to see that the temperature is still rising, which I do expect. I don't think this meat is thick enough to go through a stall, so it should keep rising. Incorrect, sir. So there's a couple of things I need to break down for you. First of all, when it comes to getting meat tender, size doesn't have anything to do with it. What has everything to do with it is the amount of connective tissue that cut of meat has. That is what we're trying to break down when we're cooking meat slow and low for long periods of time using low temperatures. It takes a long time to break connective tissues down. You can't do it fast, you can't do it at high temperatures. That's literally why we cook low and slow. Now we're doing beef neck bones in this cook, so think about what the muscles in the neck have to do. You know, I mean, they're constantly working. They gotta hold up that big old head. They're constantly moving and turning, like they never get any rest. So you're talking about a whole lot of connective tissue. So even though, yes, it is a lot smaller than bigger cuts of meat, there's just as much, if not more, connective tissue. So neck bones can take as long to get tender as any other big cut of meat. Second mistake I made was to think in my head for some reason that a small cut of meat won't go through the stall. A stall happens when the internal temperature of the meat that you're cooking stops rising. This stall can happen anywhere between 150 and 165 degrees. And what happens is the moisture in the meat will start to come to the surface, and the air cools that moisture, causing the meat to stop rising in temperature. And it can stay in that stall for hours, you know? Like, you never know how long it's gonna be in that stall. So when barbecuers, people like me that cook on the grill all the time, when we're smoking meat, we usually start to wrap it somewhere between 150 to 165 degrees, because we know that is gonna start that meat to rising in temperature again, helps us get it done faster. So the stall is what I was having a lot of problems with. Even though I did eventually take them off and put them in a pan, put some broth on them, and cover that pan, I put them back on the grill at first. And that stall was just taking longer and longer and longer. I just couldn't get them to start rising in temperature again. I think I tried for a couple of hours at least, man. I know I did at least 2 check-ins on it. Now, they were gonna eventually get tender had I just left them in there, but it was taking that much longer because, like I said, they take so long to get tender because they have so much connective tissue to deal with. So long story short, I was getting later and later, so I decided I would go ahead and finish them on the inside. So I took them off the grill, and what I ended up doing, thankfully, baby wasn't hungry, really didn't want anything to eat. So I took them and put them in a crock pot, and I just let them go all night, overnight. And sure enough, in the morning, they was all falling off the bone and tender and everything. And we had a good time. We really enjoyed them. We're gonna have them again too. But I'll tell you what we're gonna do, because I kept it really simple on this braise, nothing but some onions and some beef broth. But what was delicious, and I know a lot of y'all saw this video, was that braise that I used on the beef shanks video. So we're gonna try these again, and the next time we do it, I'm gonna do that braise right there. If you're cooking on the inside, you don't have to worry about anything, any of this stuff we've been talking about here. All you got to do, season your meat up well, sear it on both sides, and then put it in a braise and just let it go. One tip I got for you though, you might not want to braise something that you plan to eat the same day, because you just never know how long it's gonna take for that thing to break down. So if you're gonna braise some oxtails or some neck bones or turkey tails, other stuff like that, I suggest you braise it the day before you need it. Hope this video was useful to you. I hope the way I presented these mistakes to you, I hope you found that entertaining. But we're gonna keep doing it. We're gonna keep growing, and that's what we do around on the grill.